Hello everyone, it's Diane at the Creative Bohemian. I actually had a different project for you today. I was going to dress this bed, but when I took out the iron to press the fabric before dressing the bed, I put water into the channel for steaming the fabric, and it leaked all over the water. So as you know, water and electricity do not go well together, so I wasn't going to take a chance and use that iron ever again. So I figured we'll do something smaller that doesn't require me to iron. This is ironed flat enough for what we're going to do, and what we're going to do is make a dress. This is just a basic outline of the dress. I have a pattern for it. You will be able to download that pattern. In the description, I will have the link for that. And this is a really simple, non-sewing project for anyone that wants to make like a little dress to either put on your doll or for just hanging on a hanger and putting into a bedroom or a laundry room or whatever you have, what project you have going on. So right now, what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of fabric approximately 3 by 9, and you're going to trace the pattern twice. And what I mean by that is with a pencil, I'm not going to trace this part, but I am going to trace the neck and the arms. I use mechanical pencils because the line is fine and not too dark and not too noticeable if you don't get it all cut off. So now here is, I'll just mark that where the end of the shoulders is. And then I'm going to flip this over and see where these marks are. You're going to line this up. Okay. And you're just basically mirroring it all, and it's all going to be one piece. So we're going to now when you're drawing, make sure you're holding down the fabric, the pattern to the fabric really tight so that you're not moving the fabric too much when you're making your lines so that it doesn't end up distorted. I know they're not connected yet at the shoulders, but we will be doing that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make a little connection there and there. And you could either design I wouldn't design your neckline right now. I would worry about that after the fact. Now what we're going to be doing is just gluing, once we cut it out, we're going to be gluing these two sides and these two sides together. And that's really it. But first what we're going to do is we're going to go over our line like I always do with fabric so that it doesn't fray, with a line of regular PVC glue. So I'm just going to put the glue over the line. Okay, this is dry now, and we're going to take our sharp fabric scissors and we're going to cut out along the line where the glue is. And if you did it with the glue, it shouldn't fray. And just cut along the line so that you don't see it anymore. Okay, now you just have to cut out the middle. Just take a little snip towards the corner, towards the other corner, and then just cut along the line. If you need to do it in little snips, that's fine. It's a tight space, so it's a little harder to cut out. Get rid of that. If it frays just a little, don't worry, we can fix that. Okay, now when you put them together like this, this is what you've got. This was my original. Now they're both, the neckline are both the same in the front and the back. If you want to make the neckline in the front lower, or maybe your back lower, you would just draw it in now. I'm going to do nice V. Add glue to that drawn line like we did before, and then we'll cut it out. Okay, when that's dry, let's go along and cut it. Okay, fold it back down, and what you're going to do now is very simply open it up. You're drawn the side with the pencil marks face down, and you're going to run glue along here and along here. And I say don't go farther in than at least 1/8 of an inch. So like any seam allowance, try to make this line as straight as possible, because that is going to be the edge of your dress seam. And if you have it all bumpy and not lined nice, you're going to notice it. So the straighter you make this, if you have to, you can draw a line down the side like this. Let's do this. I'm using a clear one so you can kind of see. So we're going to go from here to here. Make it a little darker for you to see. So you see it? Now keep your glue. The other side's probably drying now, so we might have to top that up. And just keep it within that line. And you'll have a nice, straight seam. Don't put it too gloppy, or it'll glop outside the seam. Just try to work as neatly as you can. I'm going to go on the other side and top that off, since we took that extra time to add the line. All right, now simply, whatever direction makes you more comfortable. Me, I like working like this. You're going to match up the seams. Start at the bottom, match the seams, and then just press up and out. You don't want to press in, because then you'll push the glue there. nice and clean. Now, don't do anything with this now until it's completely dry, because otherwise if you try to turn it inside out before it's dry, it's going to come apart at the seams. So this one is all glued down. I've done this one I did a while ago, so it's definitely all dry. See, now if I didn't the last time I turned this, the seam is open. So you don't want that. That's what you don't want. And what we're gonna do with this new one that we made, we're gonna do this. We're gonna turn it inside out. Use whatever you need to help it along. Something blunt, don't use anything sharp. Okay, and there we go. Now you see how, because I didn't glue that seam, but the seam is holding, but I didn't go back and fix this seam whenever I did this originally. I have a lot of unfinished projects, and this apparently was one of them. So I'm just gonna fix this on the mend as if you were sewing a hole in a pair of socks. And just press that together. But don't, make sure it doesn't glue the rest of the dress together. So when you turn this and that happens, don't worry about it. Either turn it back over and glue the seam, or you could do it just the way I just did it. Now the options, while this dries, I'll explain the options of how to dress this and make it more exciting. This is the front, because it's got a lower neckline. You could do things like, let's see, you want this to be more of the sleeves more like that, then just draw them in, add your glue and trim them that way. You can make the neckline much lower. You could do almost anything. It's just fun to play with, come up with ideas. Now to decorate it, there's lace, any kinds of lace. I have made dresses where I took a very thick lace, very sheer like this, and I've put it at the bottom. And without, if you want it to be gathered, you can do that. I prefer things a little bit more slick. This has got more of a 1920s cut to it, so I would just do it straight with that straight line dress that you would have had in the 1920s. You could change any of this, and you could have made the skirt on the pattern come out really wide, and you would have had more of a 1950s cut. There's all sorts of things you could do. You could make it into a robe by cutting down the middle of the front. You could add sleeves to it. You can do anything. You can line the neckline with any kind of trim that you might have. The smaller, obviously, the better, so that you keep it in scale. I don't know, binding tape. This is called binding tape, but it's actually fabric, which a lot of people, seamstresses, will know what it is you would put your raw edge in between here, and you would bind the edge of your fabric. But if you unfold binding tape, it has two finished edges. It's very thin, it's very flexible. It works perfect for miniatures. So that's something you should always keep a look at. There are some that are like a satin material that works really well in miniatures. This is like really fine. This is a little bit older. I think this is like from the 1980s, so it's been around a while, but that would look really nice on our dress, because we have like this may look like it's beige, but it's actually a very muted yellow. And all kinds of laces. Remove this part of the lace so that the lace lays down, or if you prefer it to be fluffy, to be gathered like this, then you just, whatever you want to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and make some dresses, and you can watch as I add trim and finish them up. When it comes to putting lace down, you're going to want to bring it just a little bit lower than the hemline of your dress. You want to take your pattern and you want to center it. So what I would do is I would take a little bit of glue, put it here, tack this down. See, I'm making sure that it's centered and that the lowest point of the lace is below the hemline of the dress. Flip it over. And now you want to, you're gonna have to overlap the lace. So I'm gonna come just slightly in halfway. I'm gonna use this scallop to cut it. Bring the other side around, and if you're lucky, you'll be able to match up the scallops, but if not, it's fine. It's the back. As you can see, I did my best to match up the pattern from the front on each side. If you don't have that, it's fine. But if you can manage it, it'll look good from the back and the front. I'm gonna start this on the back. You can use anything to edge along your seams. You can use embroidery floss. You can use some kind of something like this, which is like a miniature edging, embellishment, cord. You can use, another thing you can use is you can take existing lace and cut pieces from it. So if I wanted this up like this, let's just cut that off. I could have put it like that. I could have put it like that. I could put it on the arms. Just cut whatever you need, little portions of the fabric. Now, as far as this, I could also use just the edge of this to put around the neckline, which I think I might do. Go up over the shoulder. Make sure you're all along the edge of the neckline. If your glue has dried a little, you can always go back in, but let's get it down first. Make sure you didn't glue the front and the back against each other. Make sure. I think for this one, I'm going to keep it simple since I'm going to cut this in half, so I make sure I have the same amount for each armhole. There we go. And I'm just going to line those armholes with the same trim as I did for the rest of the dress, keeping it very simple. I'm going to use the embroidery floss to line the last part. And that's about all you need. It's more than you need. Okay, and here we are. Here are our two dresses. I've put them on hangers that I've made. And they'd look really cute hanging from an armoire or in an armoire or laying across a bed. But it's really simple. The hardest part is putting the trim on. The dress itself is very easy, as I told you, and the pattern for the dress will be in the description below. And hope you download it and let me know if you do make some dresses. I'd love to see what you come up with. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you are able to take something away from it that will be helpful to you when you make miniatures. If you would do me a favor and leave a comment, like it, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And you'll get a notification when I upload my next video. Bye for now.